Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Grind. Here's your host, JB.
Hey, Pierre, thanks for the intro there. Thanks for joining us on a first of the breakdown. It's going to be a great episode. We're going to have Coach JohnMark Bentley join us in just a minute, but we're here in the beautiful varsity gym, and I will tell you, it's great to be back here for this show. It's going to be a good one. Kind of our format, what we're trying to do with this is turn it into a coaches show that we'll check in with coaches, staff, and student athletes as we go about our wrestling season. Definitely looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good show. It'd definitely be good to get the student athletes on here to talk a little bit about what they're doing, their success, and talk a little bit about their time in Boone as well. Obviously, we all see what they do on the mats, but really what we don't hear about is what they enjoy doing here in Boone. So I'm looking forward to that aspect of it, and I know coaches. He reached out to me today to see if we could bring on a student athlete. I hadn't planned on it with everything that we have going on, but I was definitely appreciative when he reached out and asked, because it's kind of been a firestorm for everybody, I think, getting ready for this first competition that we have coming up tomorrow. And we will discuss that a little bit. I know that there's some of you out there that are probably interested in hearing from Coach and see what he has to say about the competition tomorrow. So without further ado, Coach, how are things? We're not in the Bentley household tonight, but how are things in varsity gym tonight for you?
It's going good, Jeremy. We got had a good practice today. Our guys are getting down to weight. Tomorrow will be the first real test where they've been able to compete on weight for quite some time. So it felt a little bit more like competition, just right around the corner today, with our guys, working out, getting down to weight, then setting the gym up, getting the mat set up, and, everything ready to go for tomorrow. So it's been good. Our guys look good. I'm excited about, anticipating seeing where some of these matches go.
Yeah, and we're obviously doing the best we can do as well in practicing social distancing tonight. So a little bit more awkward setup than what we'd usually do for an event like this or a format like this, but we'll make it work for everybody. It's got to be good for you guys to kind of get back in that routine, Coach. Pulling out the mats, pulling out bleachers, making that a part of your weekly routine type thing. So it's probably had been pretty interesting to get back into the swing of things with that. Let's talk about the format of tomorrow's competition. We call it the Black and Gold Inner Squad. Some people have commented, is it a wrestle-off? What is the format for you, and what are you hoping to obtain after tomorrow's competition?
Well, actually, Jeremy, it's not really a wrestle-off. Do the matches matter? Yeah, they matter. I mean, every time we compete, the matches matter. But really, the reason that we're having this is, with the COVID-19 stuff and things like that, we just haven't had the ability to get a lot of preseason competition. Typically by this time of year, our guys have already made weight 4 or 5 times. They've already, competed in several tournaments and starting to kind of figure out where we're at and, that kind of thing. But without that this year, I didn't want to go right into our competitions in January without some type of opportunity for our guys to make scratch weight, see what it felt like, and then, compete at those weights. So, having a little bit of pressure on the guys tomorrow, having, some cameras on them and some eyes on them, I think would be good just to kind of get that competition setting. And then, just to kind of, obviously see where our guys are at with a full-size mat, official, and a little bit of pressure. And so that's kind of what we're trying to get out of this. It's not an official wrestle-off. Do the matches matter? Yes, they matter, but, it's not like I'm looking at this like, okay, the winner of all these matches are going to determine who our starter is. It's not going to really be determined that way. There'll be a lot of factors that go into determining our starters. And, we're going to have a couple of opportunities here on January the 2nd. We'll have pretty much our entire roster wrestling. And then we'll have a bunch of guys that will be able to wrestle the second weekend at NC State. So we'll be able to get some common opponents and some things like that to see, kind of what, what guys look like. I'm more concerned about how our guys wrestle against common opponents than I am how they do against each other.
Yeah, it'll definitely be an exciting event. We've been a while without some competition, and to be able to see those guys competing again. I know there's a couple of guys that are changing weight classes. I know there's a couple of those situations going on, so being able to get those guys that they're going to compete at their fighting weight, I call it, at their wrestling or competing weight, will definitely be interesting. I've seen a couple of them walk by this evening and heard the conversations about it already happening. So definitely got to be pretty interesting for those guys. And as you said, the limited competition they've had, it's kind of good, and it almost feels like there's a buzz behind it. I know there's a little bit that's gone on with what we're creating about being able to stream it and bringing people in and being able to watch it and be a part of it. But I think the fan base is itching for some competition again. I think this is obviously we'd much rather have a full slate of competition, but with what we have to deal with the pandemic, I think this is pretty exciting.
Yeah, and we've tried to take what opportunities we've been able to find. I mean, we took 25 guys out to Omaha, Nebraska, a little bit over a month ago, and wrestled in a freestyle competition against some pretty high-level, guys from around the country. And so that was a good test, although it was in a different style. They got a chance to see some, get that competition feel and see some outside competition. And, even though this is, wrestling their teammates, I mean, there's a little bit of, like you said, it feels like a competition coming up. Guys know when they start getting close to having to make weight, there's going to be some eyes on them. All of them know that this is going to be streamed tomorrow. And so it does have a little bit of those same, pre-match routine and jitters. And so that's kind of what I wanted to accomplish from it. I mean, last year we didn't even have an inter-squad match. I just didn't feel like it was necessary with all the other preseason competitions we had. But without that, this is an opportunity to kind of help prepare our team and get ready for our season and our slate that's coming up.
Yeah, it's against teammates, but there's got to be a little bit of bragging rights that come with that, right? That's like the rest of the season bragging rights almost. Even if, especially with some of the younger kids, if they can come out here and put on a good show, especially with people being able to watch it now, they've got a little smack talking rights that they could do for the rest of the season. So this is these upperclassmen that are used to being able to start in those weight classes got to feel a little bit of pressure, because I've heard from several of you guys, we've got some underclassmen that could be knocking on their door pretty early in their career here at App State.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got a very talented freshman class, and I've been very happy with what I've seen in the practice room. But as you and I have spoke about, the practice room is not always indicative of what you're going to see out here in a live competition setting on a full mat with an official and some pressure involved. And so that's kind of what we're trying to create, is that environment, and see how these guys perform in that environment. And we'll know a lot more about our team after tomorrow, I think, than we do to this point. And, I think all of our guys are competitive. None of them want to lose to each other. I mean, it is kind of obviously, a sense of pride. They want to be the guy. They want to be the guy that's wearing the black and gold when we get to our, regular season matches. So.
Yeah, definitely don't want to go out there and lose it in front of the crowd. I would imagine there's going to be some probably limited people in the stands, but I would imagine we'll have a pretty good viewing here on the streaming platforms. And speaking of the streaming platforms, you'll be able to check us out on Rockfin. We will drop some links here in just a second for Rockfin in our streams. So on Facebook, we'll drop some links there. We will also drop some maybe underneath the tweet if you're interested in checking it out. That is going to be where we stream all of the competition this year for App State Wrestling. A couple of reasons why. It's going to help us pay the bills to do what we're doing. Obviously, I hope you can notice things are a little bit picked up from our regular shows from what we're used to doing, and it will definitely be that way for the competition. Paying for a little bit of equipment, paying for some help and that sort of thing. So Rockfin will be the place. I think they're a great platform that will be able to provide that for everybody. And I think that it will serve the purpose that it needs to serve, because it's a platform that's developed by the founder of Flow Wrestling. So I would imagine he'll bring that same quality for us. So looking forward to being a part of that platform there. We've also got some articles that have gone up there recently, getting some writing up for people to be able to consume as well. And we'll get those links out to you. If you're looking for it right now before we drop them in the chat, they're in our profiles. If you follow that link tree there, it'll get you to them. So, Coach, tomorrow's competition, what's the timeline looking for what is that timeline going to be like for the student athletes? I know they were sounded like they were doing some weighing in. Maybe that was on their own, or was that pre-competition? Or what is the timeline for our student athletes going into that competition?
Yeah, so tomorrow should feel like a normal meet day for our guys. I mean, they'll probably come in tomorrow morning, get a little workout in, maybe after breakfast, make sure they're down to weight. And then we'll have an official weigh-in at noon tomorrow. And then our first match will start at 2 p.m. We'll wrestle preliminary matches that we've already kind of prepared for the first couple hours from 2 to 4 on 2 mats. Then we'll break those mats down, move it to 1, and then we'll have like an exhibition black and gold match tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
Nice. I'm looking forward to the black and gold finals as we've referred to it. But I will tell you, there's some interesting matchups early in those preliminaries. I think it might be mat 1. I don't recall exactly. But I think the first match right off the bat is the Smiths. I think that is one, personally, that I'm looking forward to seeing, because I've heard the conversation and talked to enough of the coaches that's 2 young men that I think have a lot of potential in the program. So what are some more intriguing matches in those preliminary matches as we see them now that you're looking forward to seeing, and what you would say, let the fans know, hey, when these guys step on the mat, you might want to switch over to that stream to check them out?
Well, obviously you mentioned the Smith boys wrestling, the 2 redshirt freshmen we've got, coming back from last year that both, wrestled, a little bit of time last year. They were very competitive in high school, had very great, prep careers. And then they had good years last year for us as redshirt freshmen and a freshman for us. Both got, saw some mat time, got some experience. And so that should be a pretty competitive bout. Looking at some of our new guys like Ethan Oakley at 133, he's probably going to see in the preliminary matches, he's going to see DeAndre Swinson-Barr, who's a former starter here for us 2 years ago, conference finalist. That's going to be an interesting matchup to see how that goes. I mean, DeAndre's, coming off a year where he kind of went up a weight class, and he's kind of, he put on a little bit of muscle, and he's kind of filled more into 133. So that could be a pretty intriguing matchup there. You move on up to 141, and I think we got another true freshman, Heath Gagner, who's shown, some really, brilliant stuff in the practice room. And, I think he should be, one to watch for. He's going to wrestle Dawson Bates, one of our veterans here, has been in our program for 3 years, and is very experienced. They're going to wrestle in one of the early rounds, and that should be a pretty intriguing matchup. They're very competitive in the room. It'll be interesting to see how that goes in a live match. And then, you move on up to 157. You're going to have those, we've got 3 freshmen that all are, very respectable. I think, the match that most everybody's looking forward to is, Tommy Askey and Francis Morrissey. I think they're one of those first-round matches. And, both of them had very, successful high school careers, both, at their state level and on a national level. I think both of them are very capable of helping us, and you could very well see one of them in our lineup this year. They're going to wrestle early in the preliminary matches, so that'll be very intriguing to see. Cam Miller and Chopper Mordecai should wrestle, in those preliminary matches. That should be, a pretty fun match to watch. And so you got a lot of great matches to watch, in those preliminary matches that, are, very intriguing, when you look at, what their potential was coming out of high school, and some of them you're going to see some experience against some youth, and just kind of seeing how all that shakes out.
Yeah. And the guest that you brought with us sitting at the end of the table down there, Mr. Paul Carson, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that kid compete again this year as well. So get some of the underclassmen and some of the upperclassmen competing in varsity gym tomorrow is going to be exciting. I know this season has seemed like the off season has went on much longer than I would have hoped for. And I'm definitely one of them that's looking forward to watching those young men compete again. Speaking of the upperclassmen, what is it? What are the storylines for the upperclassmen to watch? What are some of those lines? I know we've got Cody that's dropping down a weight class, but what else is happening within the upperclassmen that people may not be aware of yet?
Well, yeah, I think you mentioned one of the, probably the most, I guess, relevant, newsworthy, stories is, former two-time national qualifier for us, Cody Russell, at 133, made the decision to drop down to 125 this year. He's done a good job handling his weight. He looks good at the weight, and so tomorrow will be his first competition at 125. That's obviously a big story. And then, there's going to be some competition there. I mean, I think, the winner out of that Smith bout that we just discussed, both those guys are really, really good and really, really competitive. So I'm, interested to see the winner of those is going to take Cody on in the exhibition match tomorrow night. Then, you look at, 133, you've got a returning conference placer returning for us, Sean Carter, who's actually moved up a weight. Him and Cody's flip-flopped. And, as of late here, the last, 3 or 4 weeks, Sean has just looked really, really good in the room.
Yeah.
He's really starting to come into his own. I think he's handling the weight better. He seems like he's getting healthy and, been very impressed with watching his training the last couple of weeks. Then you got a guy like, Anthony Brito at 141 that has been in this program for a long time. He's kind of been in and out of our lineup. He's bought his, has paid his dues and, really been bought into the program and really would have been a great option for us last year. I mean, he was right there. I think, he beat, one of the conference finalists, throughout the year, in a normal tournament, placed at almost every tournament he wrestled in last year for us, ended up taking second at the National Collegiate Open. And, I think he's primed to kind of claim that spot this year and, excited to see him. Jonathan Milner, which obviously, we know who Jonathan is. Unfortunately, we're not going to see him tomorrow night, but hopefully he'll be back by January the 2nd. And then, like I said, we mentioned 157. I think another upperclassman that you got to, keep an eye out for is Cody Bond, maybe the most improved wrestler on our program.
Oh, wow.
I mean, from where he started to where he is now, I mean, he's just done a phenomenal job. I mean, growing. I mean, he came in here as a 141-pounder, has grown into 157, and really has made, tremendous jumps in this offseason. And I really, he could very well be a starter for us this year and very competitive. He wrestled great out at Omaha and, I think starting to gain confidence and start seeing himself now in that starting role. And so I think, we're expecting big things out of him. Another guy that might be the most rated guy in our program is Will Formato. I mean, he is tough as nails. I mean, I can tell you right now, when, our coaches wrestle him, I mean, you got to go. I mean, it's no more just kind of, shoes half-laced and just kind of beating up on him anymore. I mean, he is a formidable go every time you wrestle with him. And he's really, I think, made tremendous improvements in areas that he was weak in. I mean, he was good in certain areas last year, and so I think that's why you saw him being very competitive. He's grown a lot. He's much more mature and physical at 165 this year. I think he is really, I think he's going to turn some heads. Like, nice. I really believe he could be an All-American this year.
Nice.
I'm telling you, he's looking really good. Then the guy sitting here behind me, Paul Carson, I mean, he's just, most people don't know last year. I mean, he missed the whole preseason for that thumb surgery that you and I have talked about.
Yep.
He really didn't get a preseason, kind of got thrown in our lineup, didn't have an opportunity to kind of get himself into shape, and kind of had to wrestle and battle through a lot of adversity last year. And, he's been healthy, trained hard all summer, and he's looking phenomenal. And I'm excited to kind of see him get his opportunity because, if he'd been healthy last year, there's no doubt in my mind he could have been a conference champ for us. And so It's kind of nice to finally get him back healthy and, with a good amount of training under his belt. Thomas Flitz is back. He's looking great, returning national qualifier for us. And so we got a lot of experience, and there's going to be some intriguing matchups. And then I would say even two of our upperclassmen at 184 tomorrow night, watching Barrett Blakely and Julian Gorin go at it. That should be a pretty interesting bout. Barrett got the better of Julian out in Omaha, but we'll see how it goes tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm stoked to be able to see the competition and to see the team competing amongst themselves. It's great to watch the team out here in varsity gym on these mats here in front of us when we get some of the unsuspecting visitors that come to town. But it's going to be great to see that competition internally tomorrow, and great to see those kids competing again. Coach, Monday was a little exciting. We had a good time Monday. So have you visited the BMW dealership? Have you decided to put a down payment on one of the M2s, 3s, 4s, or X4 or whatever it was that we drove out there?
Man, I tell you what, it's a little bit out of my price range, but I tell you that was pretty exciting. I mean, I had no idea what you were getting me into, Jeremy, but man, I do not regret it. And I've thought a lot about it, and man, that was one of the most entertaining things I've done in a long time. And man, it was a rush. When you and I got in that first one and took off, man, and feeling the power of that M2, it was a different feeling. It's something I haven't felt, and man, what a great time that was on Monday.
Yeah, so the Boone and the Appalachian State University Law, if you see a white Tacoma speeding around, just be kind to him. He come from a
it's a tundra, white
tundra.
Yeah.
A white Tundra speeding around. That definitely be kind to him. He's just coming off the racetrack and probably got a little bit of that foot left in him. But yeah, that was a great time. Great to spend that time with you, Coach. And definitely, if anybody's interested, go down to that BMW Performance Center in Greer, South Carolina. It'll be worth every dime you spend down there. We had a blast with that. But good start to the week, Coach. Good to get back in there and get in that groove and kind of hit it off on that Monday. Definitely is going to lead into a great Friday. Coach, we're going to be back here at 2 p.m. Friday, tomorrow actually, right here. We're going to start the preliminaries at 2, and then we'll get to the final black and gold matches at 6 p.m. What else you have to say? What else you looking forward to? What's the word from the head coach moving into that before we move on to Mr. Carson here?
Well, I'm just excited. I think for all those fans that'll be tuning in tomorrow, I think it'll be something that should be entertaining. Hopefully there'll be a lot of points scored. You never know, when you're wrestling, when you're having guys that are wrestling on the same team that see each other every day in the room. Sometimes they could be a little more conservative. I hope not. I hope that our guys get after it tomorrow and, really kind of showcase, the work they've been putting in the room. But, feel very confident in this team. Our culture's great right now. We've got great leadership within our team. The assistant coaches are doing an awesome job and really kind of connecting with our staff and our student athletes. And so there's just a lot of great things going on with Appalachian Wrestling, and I really appreciate, you at the grind just, kind of showcasing that, man. It's been great, and I appreciate it. And, I'm excited. I'm a little bit kind of getting a little bit of that competitive, bug. Looking forward to seeing these guys go at it.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that, and we've talked about this plenty with what we're trying to do here at the grind is showcasing the talent that we put out here. One, making more awareness, creating more awareness with how successful our program is. 2, showcasing our student athletes for what they deserve and really trying to step up the production quality. But now all the talk hits the road tomorrow, so it'll probably be a sleepless night for me, wondering to make sure I've got all the I's dotted and T's crossed, which I guarantee you that I won't because there are a lot to do with it. But I think we'll have a good show for sure. I think being able to get the viewers involved and see what goes on here. Obviously, when we first started this conversation, Coach, we had no idea that we were going to be in the middle of a pandemic and really be the only outlet now that people have outside of a few parents that will be allowed in here. So I think it'll be good. I think we'll put on a good show. I think Dominic and Sava will put on a pretty good broadcast for people. There'll be some commentary, and I think just talking to Coach Bentley here a few minutes ago, I think we might be able to get one of the coaches to sit down with the commentators as well to kind of talk through some of the action on the mat. So I think it'll definitely be worth it. We'll have some more competition coming up as well. We're going to cover the Southern Conference Forum as well, and we hope to be able to do the Appalachian Individual Quad that's coming up at the 1st of January. So tomorrow, 2 p.m., we'll be right back here on Rockfin, if that's where you're watching us at. If not, be sure to go over there and jump on that, and we'd appreciate you subscribing through our channel there, because that leads us to a little bit more money at the end of the day to help grow this. There's a lot of equipment that we're going to use tomorrow that's rented, and it would be great to purchase our own at some point so we can start giving back to the program much sooner than we realized. Coach, I definitely appreciate your time this evening. Appreciate you having us here in Varsity Gym, and just seeing those mats out there has me excited already.
Absolutely, Jeremy. I appreciate it. We'll see you back tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. And they'll switch out there. So go check us out on Rockfin. We'll get Paul set down there in Coach's spot. Check us out on Rockfin, and we'll get we'll get Paul on here in just a second after they get out of there. Rockfin is where it's going to be. It's pretty easy to find. I think there's going to be a good platform for us to be at and to stream the content. We've sent a lot of our content already there, so there's a pretty good library of stuff that's ready to go there. But all the matches will be there soon as well, so definitely check us out there. We're also, obviously, we've got the YouTube page that we put up. We've got our Twitter that a lot of people follow, and Facebook, but Rockfin is where the competition will be. And I think we've got Mr. Carson that's joined us now. How are you, Mr. Carson?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Excellent, excellent. It's great to have you on. It's great to have you on an episode and to be a part of what it is that we're doing here with us tonight, because it's I've followed you for a while. I've seen your success and realized, obviously, as just a fan last season, didn't really know what hit you at the end of last season, but it sounds like you ran into a little bit of an injury that took you out of the lineup later in last season. Talk a little bit about that. What was it that you were going through, and what was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for you to kind of take that back seat and set it out for a little bit?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know, during camps last year, it was right after our first camp. It was like late at night. I was just trying to get something to eat, and I had some frozen hamburger patties in my fridge. And, I was pretty tired. We get tired during camps and stuff. It's a lot of work. And, instead of being like any normal person, just putting some frozen patties in the microwave to like try to thaw them out, I grabbed a kitchen knife and thought I was just going to be able to pry this thing open. And the knife went right through the patty, went right into my thumb. It went about halfway into my thumb, like pretty deep, a lot of blood. I almost passed out. My friends that were staying at my place had some of the other wrestlers, they took me to the hospital that night, and Coach Bentley was the first one that I called for that, and he couldn't believe it either. But yeah, it was rough. It was tough coming back from that because I couldn't wrestle at all. Like I was out for months. It was like 3-4 months before I could even touch a wrestling mat again or even mess with anybody. And so I think it was a lot to overcome, like mentally and physically. Like that was the thing. Like I think that I did everything I could. I was running and like I lifting with one arm and stuff. But just when I got back on the mat, like anybody knows wrestling, when you can run and do everything outside of wrestling, but if you're not actually wrestling, it's tough. It's tough to like get back into that like full Division I level grind, especially here at App. And yeah, it was a lot to overcome. And, during the season, it was just a lot of like up and down. I feel like for me, I feel like there were some matches where I felt like I was able to get it going, especially I feel like in tournaments I was able to like string some matches together. But in the dual meets, it was like there were duels where I felt good, and then there were duels where, I just go out there and I felt like I was just a shell of myself, out there. And I think that's ultimately what it was that Coach Bentley decided to take me out of the lineup, was that I think it was honestly like not necessarily that I got beat out or that, it was more so just not performing up to the level that they know that I can perform. And I knew it too, and it was really disappointing way to end my season. But I mean, it was just a lot. I didn't try to get down on myself this off season. I just wanted to get back to work and was like, all right, well, I'm healthy now. Like, I just want to get back to it.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, I will tell you, that story, you faced a lot of adversity that many student athletes will never face in their career, just so you know. Obviously, going out and getting injured on the mat or on the field of competition is one thing, but when you go through something like that you basically created your own injury, right? And to be able to come back at all is pretty telling of the young man you are. So my hat's off for you to be able to even continue through that adversity, continue your training, and step back on the mat and be able to compete at the level you did, because everybody that's been in your shoes, from the All-Americans that we've had on there beyond the mat, the one thing they tell us all the time is the hardest thing about wrestling is the mental game.
Absolutely.
The confidence or the lack of confidence is the hardest thing that everybody talks about. So to go through that injury that you've gone through, obviously not at the hands of a foe on the mat, but at yourself, and to be able to come through it is pretty extraordinary, and my hat's off for you for that. So last season, obviously, didn't end the way you wanted it to. What is it that you're looking to improve this season as we get ready to start competition tomorrow?
I think some of the biggest improvements for me is just, opening up more. There's a lot of times where I'll be in practice and I feel like I'm, really on, like opening up, taking a lot of shots, taking, getting to the legs a lot. And then I'll get in matches and I feel like I'll, let my opponent slow me down, or, I'm just looking to perform better. I feel like I've put in a lot of work this off season, as much as I possibly could. And I have a lot more confidence in myself coming into this season than I did last year. And the work that I put in this off season, I feel like is what's helping with that. Not being hurt, like you said, being healthy this off season and everything. Even though we were in a pandemic, I found, just trying to find ways to improve any way that I could. Strength wise, just anything I could. And yeah, I think biggest things is just performing in matches. Believing in myself and my abilities, and just trusting myself.
Yeah, I've said this before with talking to friends, and I've shared this with Coach Bentley before. What we went through as a society with the pandemic, I think is going to be what separates a lot of programs. I mean, just look at what's happened with football. There was a lot of teams that were in the conversation of being in the national championship race that didn't even win 2 games. So I say that to say that discipline through the pandemic is going to be pretty important, especially for a wrestler, because I don't know too many teams or too many sports or too many competitions where it's one single student athlete at a time against the other one, right? So I think that what you said, continuing that discipline, that training, that hard work through the pandemic, when you couldn't report to the training rooms, you couldn't report as a team, you didn't train as a team, you didn't compete as a team. I think it's going to be pretty telling, and it's going to be, one of those things that I think we see pretty early in the season, who did it and who didn't do it, and that sort of thing. But I'm pretty confident that the guys that Coach Bentley has under his program probably is going to be on the ladder, that they spent the time and did the things that they needed to do, even if it was on their own. So, looking forward to this season, what are some things about Boone that you've enjoyed to this point as a student athlete here? What are some of the highlights that you've looked forward to?
Are we talking about outside of like athletics and everything like that?
Well, we can talk about all of it. You got a whole 30 minutes that we can chat with about whatever you want to chat with. So. Yeah. Let's get to know Paul Carson as a student and an athlete in the next 30 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like the most interesting person. I definitely, one of the things I really enjoy about Boone is the scenery and like just how you can get outdoors and do things. Like I love, not especially it's cold right now, but during the summer, the weather is just like perfect to go outside and you can go hiking. I love to go hiking, go swimming, just all different things like that. I definitely I like to, it was hard this year to like get together with our guys. Like our guys, we like to hang out. We're all really close with each other, and it was hard because of the pandemic to, we had to like stay away from each other. So just because of all the regulations and everything against us. But one of the big things I like to do is I like to get some of the guys together, and hopefully we can do this again soon. And we like to, we'll all pitch in money to buy like UFC fights. And I know Kerry Miller, he's transitioning now into MMA, and me and him, we would always coordinate with everybody. We'd get everybody together to come watch the fights and stuff, and that was one of the big things I love to do. I love just like they have them almost every weekend. We would get together with guys and watch the fights and stuff, and it's always a good time. It's always really funny. But yeah, just going outside and just whether it's going to the park and just even just if it's relaxing, just going for a walk and stuff. Like I like to get outside and do stuff like that. I definitely hang out a lot with my with my girlfriend. I gotta make time for my girlfriend too. I'll be honest, you definitely gotta make time for your girlfriend because wrestling's definitely demanding and stuff. But we like to go outside and do stuff and just clear my head and just have fun. Nice.
So you're a UFC fan. Who's the ones you're watching? Who's the up and comers that's got your eye? What's your favorite fighters?
Man, my favorite fighters. That's a good question. Oh man, well, definitely Conor McGregor is one of my favorites. Just because I know a lot of people think he's cocky and everything, but I love just like his confidence and just the way he fights. Who's some other guys? There's some guys that just fought this weekend. I mean, all the champions, like every single one of them. Like, you got Adesanya. I could go down the list. I know so many fighters. That's one of the things. Like I know so many fighters on the rosters. Like, I definitely like the lightweight division for me is probably my favorite division to watch. You got Khabib, you got Conor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. I just the list goes on, but definitely that weight class is my favorite.
Well, I have to agree with Conor. I enjoy watching him as well. His antics are a little crazy sometimes, but his confidence level is second to none. I mean, if that guy could beat people just off of confidence alone, there's nobody that could beat him, no matter how big they were. But yeah, and he's always a great. It's almost like he's a kind of like a drama and a fighter, right? Like the drama leading up to all of his fights is just ridiculous, but when he steps out into those octagons, man, he puts on a show for sure. And I've heard rumors he getting ready to fight again.
Yeah,
is that true?
Yep, he's fighting Dustin Poirier again.
That's right.
They fought a couple years ago, and Conor beat him, but Dustin's gotten a lot better. And so it's gonna be a good fight. I think that's happening maybe in like January, but I'm definitely gonna be watching that.
Yeah, that's gonna
wait to see that.
That's gonna be a good time. And I think that there's some rumor going on that he's talking about fighting that YouTube guy too, right?
Oh,
Isn't that YouTube guy trying to get his attention or something? I seen somebody post the other day. Somebody posted, what's his name? Jake Paul. Yeah. Jake Paul. Somebody posted a shot of Jake Paul's profile, and he's got, I don't know, 1 million followers or something on Instagram. Yeah. And it said he's following one person, and the one person he's following is Conor McGregor's fiance.
Yeah, I mean, those two guys, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, are got to be the two biggest, can I say scumbags? Two biggest scumbags that I've ever seen. And I definitely I don't think anybody wants to see them win besides maybe each other. But yeah, Jake Paul definitely, he's been calling out McGregor.
Yeah.
He followed his wife. I saw that. you know, I know he fought. What was he fought? Nate Robinson, the basketball player, and he's like he knocked him out. And he thinks like he's a great fighter now.
Yeah,
but
I would pay to see that fight. Jake and Connor, I'd pay to see that fight for sure.
Oh yeah, I would definitely love to see that.
Yeah, that's good. That'd be a good one. And there's another fight coming up soon that's going to be pretty good as well. But I like Derek. What's the big guy, the heavyweight guy? Derek. What's his Lewis?
Mm-hmm.
That guy's kind of a little bit of a drama guy as well. But man, that guy, if he would spend some time working out, maybe we can get him up here in varsity gym under Coach Bentley doing some training. If he had some cardio training, that guy would be scary.
Right? I agree.
But he just can't go 3 rounds. If he goes 3 rounds, he's done.
He can strike with anybody. It's crazy. You look at him and he just looks like this regular dude.
Yeah.
And then he goes out there and it's like, man, he's explosive. He's got knockout power, but he has no wrestling, no ground game. You know, I've seen him in fights just getting the crap beat out of him, and then the last minute he finds a way to get to his feet and then knocks the guy out. It's pretty crazy.
So Derek, if you're listening, come up here and hang out in varsity gym and train with these guys for a little bit. I'm sure your game would improve drastically.
For sure.
If nothing more, I guarantee your conditioning will improve. There's a little hill out back that will definitely get you into that. So are you a fan of Howard's Knob?
Man, you know, I'm not the best at running. I'll tell you what, the view at the top is really nice. When it's all done, I'm a fan of it. Then I'm like, all right, this is nice. It's we get a nice picture. But you know, running up that thing, and it's not a lot of running for me. It's running to a degree, and then eventually becomes a power walk and just trying to, you know, try not to fall over in a ditch somewhere. It's pretty steep, but it's a great workout. But
yeah. So you're not one of the Dominics. You're not the one that's looking forward to going on the Howard Knob run then.
No, unfortunately not. I'm not as good of a runner as Dom. Yeah. I definitely, you know, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm big. I don't know. I'm just not a great runner in general. Definitely glad I'm a wrestler, not a track guy or something.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, we're talking to Paul Carson on the breakdown tonight. You can join us there on Facebook. We can chat. You can ask some questions if you wish. Also, check us out on Rockfin and our YouTube account. Go give us a subscribe to each one of those. We definitely appreciate it. Obviously, the YouTube is free, and we do post all of our content there. It makes it pretty easy to be consumed. Rockfin, you can follow us there, but obviously you'll have to have the subscription to check out the action tomorrow here in Varsity Gym. And I can tell you, I was here setting up a little bit earlier this evening when the wrestlers were finishing up business, and they're looking pretty tough. I'm excited to see what they do here tomorrow. I'm sure they'll be putting on a pretty good show for the viewers. So check us out there. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. You can hit us up at any one of those. We also have a Patreon page that we set up, and we do. It's picking up steam. Obviously, we do post some updates in there, kind of the insider track on what's going on, what we are doing, and what the team is doing, and kind of what the team is facing. So go check us out there. Definitely appreciate the support that we have there. We have Coach Rosa in the chat in Facebook, and he said, "Confidence, my man, you're ready." Coach Rosa is definitely a big part of your career up until this point, so I'm sure Coach will be checking in at some point and checking up on you guys. Christian Beach, this guy's always chiming in. He's on every chat, man. If it wasn't for Christian Beach, we wouldn't have much conversation going on in our chats. Christian Beach chimes in. He says, "Dark Horse represents Paul Carson." What's Dark Horse?
So Dark Horse, so the two people I've known the longest, I know Christian just graduated, but I've known Thomas Flitz and Christian Beach longer than anybody else on this entire team. And we both all three of us wrestle at Dark Horse. It's a wrestling club, and it's located in Charlotte. But yeah, we all grew up like through high school wrestling with each other. Believe it or not, me and Thomas wrestled the same weight class, and we actually wrestled each other 4 times and split down the middle 4 times wrestling each other. But yeah, definitely,
nice.
Definitely Dark Horse was some fun days with Christian, for sure. I miss Christian. wish he was still here, but I'm glad that he's tuning in to watch.
Yeah, he's definitely always there.
Yeah.
So you're a Charlotte native.
So I'm from Gastonia, which is right next to Charlotte.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So one of Coach Bentley's homegrown from North Carolina. That's a popular thing with this program, is getting those North Carolina kids and developing them into the wrestlers that they become. So definitely happy to hear that. So that explains the dark horse. So what's your other passions outside of the fighting, the MMA? Is that, well, let me ask you this, is that something you're interested in exploring yourself?
I'm definitely interested in that. For
Really?
Sure. Yeah, I'll be honest. Definitely, I would say, so I started wrestling, my 8th grade year was my first year ever wrestling, and I wasn't very good, and I ended up, if people don't know, it's like I ended up quitting after my 8th grade year. I was like, I'm never wrestling again. I hate this. And my brother started getting into, found an MMA gym, started getting into it, and I started getting into it as well. And I did that for like my whole freshman year. I didn't even wrestle. And then like I started to realize, I was like, a lot of wrestlers are doing well in MMA and stuff. So then I started getting to wrestling. And then I love wrestling. Wrestling's my number one passion. But definitely, I could definitely see myself when I'm done wrestling going into the MMA world.
Nice.
Definitely excited about that.
Yeah, we've got a couple of recent guys out of the program. Kerry Miller's getting ready. I think he's training right now for his first fight, and Austin Trotman has had a couple of professional, at least one that I know of. Man, that guy, I don't know if you've watched his last one, but he was...
I think he's got like 2 knockouts now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. They said maybe the first fight somehow got changed, but he knocked that guy out, and then he knocked out his last opponent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that if he knows how to strike at all with his wrestling, I mean he's gonna be in the UFC in no time, and he's got some. I'm pretty sure he trains with like Derek Brunson.
Yeah.
Who's really good, and I bet he beats up on Derek.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well he's training with and he's training Derek Brunson.
Oh,
So he's
okay.
Derek Brunson's wrestling trainer.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously Brunson, from what I understand, the conversation we had with him on Beyond the Mat is that Brunson is training him for MMA. So pretty interesting. And I asked Coach Bentley this during media day was, typically wrestlers coming out of high school going into college, their track was, let me try out for the Olympic team. If they felt they were good enough, they would go and continue to train in some of the wrestling training centers and make a run for the Olympics. That's not so anymore, man. You get so many guys now, so many great athletes that are coming out of wrestling and headed straight for professional MMA and able to make good money, especially if they can get a big contract like some of those guys can. So it's pretty interesting to see that. I'm happy to see it for student athletes like you guys to be able to have that opportunity outside of running for the Olympics, taking that shot, or going directly into coaching. So it's got to be pretty exciting for you guys, and I'm happy to see that opportunity show up for you. What's your favorite things growing up in the Gastonia area? Are you a North Carolina fan? Do you like the mountains, the beaches? What is it about North Carolina that you enjoy?
Definitely warm weather. For at least, definitely coming to Boone was a little bit different. It's definitely cold here. It definitely gives you that feel of like being up north and stuff. But just being in Gastonia, the weather there, it's usually warm, pretty warm year round. That's one thing I love. Like, I love warm weather. I love the cold weather too, though. The cold weather has grown on me a lot. But yeah, going to the mountains, going swimming, going to the beaches. I love going to the beach. I love being there. Just like I said before, just getting outside and stuff is like, I feel like it's so much nicer to do down south. There's just the scene, like just nature and everything like that. It's so nice here.
Yeah, you definitely picked the wrong school for liking warm weather. You probably realize it by now.
Yeah, that's true. It's nicer. I tell you what, we have some of the nicest summers and here in Boone for sure.
Yeah. So, favorite hamburger in Boone?
So these aren't the ones that I make for sure. Definitely not my hamburgers, but No, my favorite hamburger in Boone. Let me think. I love Comeback Shack's hamburgers. I love. I mean, I've probably ate there. I couldn't even tell you how many times. I love their burgers. They're so good.
Yeah.
I love the comeback sauce.
Hey, I'm kind of with you on that,
yeah,
man. Comeback Shack is
right.
that
It's
is
pretty
hard to
good.
beat in Boone for a burger. Yeah.
It's really good.
Are you down with their fries as well?
I do like their fries. I feel like they give a little bit too much fries. I think that like
What?
I do. I think they give too much. I wish that their burgers were like a little bit bigger
And a little bit
then
less fries?
Yes, that's what I wish. But I definitely think it's good. Their fries are really good. But I just wish I feel like sometimes they give a lot of fries, and I'm just like, man, I wish their burgers were just a little bit bigger and they give less fries.
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining.
I could be
Yeah.
down with that because their patties are a little bit not necessarily thin, but they could definitely be bigger.
Yeah.
Best coffee in town. Are you a coffee drinker?
Oh yeah, I do drink coffee, but you don't want to. It's black coffee. Like I don't drink a ton of.
That's all I drink,
Yeah.
man, is straight black coffee.
Yeah.
I don't need no sugar, no cream. What's your coffee in town? What's your coffee, Jim?
So I would say I'm.
You
trying to
got,
think.
just so you know, you got Coach Bentley just glaring at you right
I
now
know he's
because I'm sure you know what he's drinking.
I think if I say anything other than black coffee, he's gonna get on me for it.
yeah.
But man, I'll tell you what. I think the best coffee that I had, and people can judge me for this, but during I think it was October, Starbucks had the pumpkin spice latte. That was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think it was gonna be that great, but I got it, and it was. I'm telling you, it was good. I mean, hey, I'm being honest with you
Wait a
guys.
minute.
I'm being honest.
Did this guy just say pumpkin spice latte?
Pumpkin spice latte, ice. We gotta get some ice in there too. It's gotta be cold.
What?
Hey, don't knock it till you try it. That's all I say.
Man, I'm going to enjoy doing these episodes because I know a lot more about you now than what I ever did before you sat down. Pumpkin spice latte. Well, I can't say that I'm going to agree with you on that one, but yeah, that's interesting. Best chicken in town.
Best chicken in town. Trying to think. That's a good question.
Do you want to come back to that one? Because I've got another one.
Let's come back to that one.
Best barbecue in town.
Best barbecue in town. See, I don't really eat a lot of pork.
What?
Yeah, I don't. It's crazy. I did used to.
Paul, I was a big fan
Yeah.
until we went to pumpkin spice lattes, and I don't eat barbecue.
Listen, you know who turned me off? You know who turned me off from barbecue was actually Damasio. Damasio, he never ate barbecue, and he was like telling me. We had a long conversation about pork, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know. Not a huge pork fan. The places, I'll say this, what I really like is ground turkey, steak.
Yeah.
Those are like my top two. And
I guess if I'm a wrestler that's worried about weight, I'm probably not eating barbecue too much as well. So ground turkey and steak is definitely. So where's the best steak in town?
Best steak in town, man. You know that. The past 2 years, I'd say for my birthday, I went to Outback. Outback's pretty dang good. It's definitely a little different because of the pandemic, just going there. But
Yeah.
I would say that Barbaritos is one of my favorite places. I'm kind of sad because they've been closed for a little bit. That something happened there.
They had a car that tried to make a drive-in or something.
Right.
I don't know what.
Smashed the windshield.
They were probably at one of the watering holes before that happened, I'm
Yeah.
sure of. But so pumpkin spice lattes, Comeback Shack, Barbaritos. What are we missing? Where's your favorite ice cream spot? Are you ice cream?
I do like ice cream. I'm trying to think, where do I get ice cream at? Though that's like, I normally get it from the store whenever I do get it, but whenever I get ice cream, I don't know if I should say. I was maybe a fast food place. Honestly, like McDonald's ice cream's not bad, but I don't get it that often. I don't want to throw myself under the bus here like I already have, but I definitely like McDonald's ice cream.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the best place, but I try not to eat ice cream a lot, to be honest. I'm not like.
Well, it's a challenge just to catch the ice cream maker at McDonald's working. So if you ever eat an ice cream there, you're doing pretty good.
Exactly.
So where's the other spots in town that you like to favor? What's some recommendation if somebody's watching this and coming to Boone tomorrow? Where are you telling them to stop?
All right, so if you're coming to Boone tomorrow, you know, you got to hit up, well, if you're trying to eat, like, not, don't want to spend too much money, Jimmy John's isn't bad. I really do like Jimmy John's. We eat Jimmy John's a lot. I like the Italian. Might not be the healthiest option on the menu, probably the most calories, but it's really good. I love Jimmy John's. Chipotle, Barbary is close, so you got to hit up Chipotle. You can get a lot of good stuff there. That's a place I like to go. I just try not to eat. I don't eat out a ton though, really. I really do make a lot of money. That's why it's hard for me to think of a lot of places. I try not to eat out a ton, just try to save money. I'm not, I don't have a ton of money or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those places I would say, but if you're talking like restaurants, I like to go to Los. I like Mexican food. I love Mexican food. Yeah, Los, Capone's. Oh, I love pizza. Oh, I can't believe I didn't say that. Pizza is like.
So the Capone's Pizza, that's.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Capone's Pizza. It's just so good.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I can definitely respect that. That's a great pizza joint to check out for sure. What's the pizza there?
I usually go with pepperoni, spinach, maybe some onion on there. I try to keep it a little bit healthy. You don't have to add a ton. Their pizza's just good. It's just the bread is really good. The cheese is good. It kind of, I've never been up north too much and ate pizza. So I'm guessing though, like if I was to go up there, I feel like that's how the pizza would be. It's definitely probably the best pizza in Boone, in my opinion.
Nice. Well, Paul, it's been great chatting with you this evening. It's been amazing to get to know you the few minutes that we've had together, and hope to get to know you a little bit more as the season goes on. I'm definitely excited to see you compete tomorrow. I'm looking forward to those matches that we'll have out here with you on the mat. What is one thing that you would like to tell people about the Appalachian State Wrestling program in the time that you've been here so far?
If I could say one thing about our program is that we have, I think, the best culture out of any wrestling team in the nation. I think that, you come here like it's a family. It's not like, even we have guys that compete each other in different weight classes, but at the end of the day, like we're all really super close. Like we work super hard together. And I think that's just like one of the best things about being here is I just feel like I can talk to anybody about anything. There's nobody that's like, there's not little cliques here and there. It's like we're all one big family, one unit. And, we just, I think that's like the best thing about this program. That's what I love about this program, is just like how much of a family we are.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Paul, I definitely appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to maybe catching up with you at some point tomorrow. So have a good night, and good luck tomorrow, man.
All right, appreciate it, Jeremy.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
So check us out, Rockfin, obviously. I've said it once, I'll say it again. If you want to watch that competition tomorrow here at Varsity Gym, that's where these guys will be. And I would imagine it'll be worth every second of your time to be able to watch that. 2 p.m. we start streaming. It'll be the preliminaries on 2 mats. We'll have the feed set up for 2 mats. Mat 1 will have the commentary and have a little bit more going on. Mat 2 will basically be the stream, so just that of the action on the mat. We'll break it down. After about 2 hours of that, we'll break it down and start back again at 6 p.m. With the finals or the black versus gold team. Should be interesting. Coach has committed to stepping in, him and another one of the staff members stepping in and setting down at the commentating table. So it'll be good to get that insight into what he's seeing on the mat and how he's feeling about how things are going tomorrow. So should be a good time. We're looking forward to being a part of it and bringing that action to your living room or phone or wherever it is that you may be watching. So appreciate your time tonight. Like us, subscribe to us, share us, tag the App State Wrestling fan that you may know that may not be a part of our streams. We would definitely appreciate it. And have a great night.
This has been a production by Yosef Media.